4 years ago, I had some good luck. I was accepted onto a government teaching scheme and my salary doubled overnight. Money had never been my top priority, but nevertheless, I was super excited, especially by the thought of how much I would be able to save and what it would mean for my future. Early retirement, bucket list trips, and helping out friends and family, just as I'd always dreamed of doing. But then something happened that I wasn't expecting. Little by little and day by day, I started spending more money. A lot more money. I started taking taxis to work every morning. I started ordering Starbucks once a day. My work lunches were coming from nicer and more expensive places. I switched supermarkets. I got a new piece of tech. And another. And another. In my mind, I knew that now I had access to more resources, and every day my internal dialogue was using that fact to justify greater and greater expenditure. This phenomenon is called lifestyle inflation. Hi, I'm Harry, and on this channel I discuss ideas from books, podcasts, and anything else that's been diverting my attention. In this video, I'll talk about 4 reasons why lifestyle inflation occurs and how you can stop it from ruining your life and emptying your bank account. I'll also touch on some books and other resources that are helping me to consume more mindfully and spend less. Consumer culture. We live in an environment where consumption is encouraged. Large corporations vie for your attention on a second-by-second basis so they can sell that attention to advertisers. And what do those advertisers want to do? You got it. Sell you stuff. Another key feature of consumer culture is something called planned obsolescence. Planned obsolescence refers to the phenomenon of companies producing products that break, wear out, or become less usable long before they need to encourage you to update to the newest version. This can be through wear and tear, battery decline, or more recently, through app software updates that place higher and higher demands on your tech devices. So how can we be mindful about the effect that consumer culture has on our choices? Try this. Explicitly write down your core values and see if your spending matches up. If you find that fashion is a truly high priority for you, then spending 30% of your income on clothes might make sense. But if you wrote down family, education, or giving to others, do these things show up on your bank statement? If they're buried beneath Deliveroo orders, Starbucks runs, and clothing hauls, maybe it's time for a rebalance. For a deeper dive into how our consumer culture has left us feeling depressed, I recommend this book, Lost Connections by Johann. For a guide to identifying what's essential in life, check out McKeown's Essentialism. The second key reason for lifestyle inflation, and the one that's affected me most personally, is convenience. Our entire economy revolves around the idea of convenience. Companies are always on the lookout for ways to save you time. They can drive you to work, deliver your food, clean your house, or even file your taxes. But all this convenience comes at a price. Most of us give up a large chunk of our time to work. And sure, we may enjoy what we do, but the primary reason that we go to work is to get money. We spend some of this money on things that bring us greater convenience, because convenience frees up more of our time. But if we're not careful, this cycle can start to work against us. With work taking up so much of our time, the desire for convenience gets greater and greater. This higher level of convenience costs even more money, and the need for more money drives us to work longer and harder than ever before. So what's the solution? Ask yourself what you're saving this time for. If it's something that brings you value in terms of finance or health or your well-being, then maybe it's a good investment. But try not to seek convenience merely to have more undefined free time that you don't know what you'll do with. If you've already gone too far down the slippery slope of convenient spending, there's a way to reverse the trend. Try reframing the things you have to do every day as things you get to do. I get to ride the bus today. I get to look out of the window. I get to cook a healthy meal. There's a phenomenon you've probably experienced. You see something you want to buy. Maybe you saw it in an ad. Maybe your friend recommended it to you. You decide you're going to buy it and feel excited, but once you've got the item, it doesn't bring you the satisfaction you anticipated. After a while, life with this item becomes the new normal. This is known as hedonic adaptation. We feel a rush of dopamine when we anticipate a reward or a pleasurable experience, but very often the experience doesn't match our expectation. The theory of the Hedonic Treadmill states that regardless of what we buy, we always end up returning to that same baseline level of happiness that we had before. The solution to this is what I call the 48-hour rule and a purchasing schedule. So here you can see I've got a purchasing schedule for things that I want to buy. So for any major purchase, I put it here on my purchasing schedule. So I've got things like microphones, a keyboard, maybe a new MacBook, maybe a new lens for my camera. I've priced them up and I've worked out what store I'm going to get them from, and I've started to schedule my purchases so that I can wait for a while before buying them. And in the meantime, I need to answer these questions. Will this bring genuine value to my life in the long term? Will this help me progress towards my main goals? Will this save money or time in the long run? Would my life be different if I had this thing? Could I wait and buy this thing later? and I prioritize which things I'm going to purchase and when based on how many of these questions they satisfy. If it can't wait till later, it goes towards the top. If it can, it goes towards the bottom. But simply by being mindful and not buying things the moment that you feel like it means you're stepping out of that hedonic treadmill trap, stepping out of that dopamine trap, and only purchasing the things that are going to bring actual value to your life, instead of just trying to get a quick hit of dopamine for something that's not going to bring you any value. The final reason for lifestyle inflation is status. This one is the stupidest. We often purchase or crave material items for the status we believe them to convey to others. Cars, iPhones, clothes, you name it, we're far more likely to make an extravagant purchase for an item others will see, like a jacket, than for an item we won't show to others, like a toothbrush or an online course. So how do we avoid the status trap of trying to impress others with our possessions? Solution. Think about the people you admire. Is it because of the things they possess? It's certainly not bad to admire someone who has a lot of material possessions, but usually it's the qualities that led them to acquire those possessions that you admire, not merely the possessions themselves. Our status is only truly elevated when we achieve or create things, not when we consume. It's like the difference between a sugary snack and a filling, nutritious meal. If you want to know more about how to start a creative hobby or project, I highly recommend this book, which I summarized in this video. The link's down below. Jumping off the hedonic treadmill is hard. Our brains are wired for novelty, and overcoming that requires effort. But simply being mindful of why it is that we desire the things we do is a great start. The next step is finding something that can provide the fulfillment, engagement, and pleasure that our brain had been getting with constant consumption. Here are the things that I'm trying to focus on more in my daily life. They're free, they never run out, and they're way more satisfying than anything I can buy in a store. Friends. The outdoors. Exercise. Time alone. Reading. So hopefully with a few of the insights into why we desire the things we do and why we spend so much on things that we don't need, you can start to make a schedule for yourself and leave yourself with more money and a lot more satisfied. Let me know if you have any other tactics for being more mindful about the things that you purchase. For me, making these videos is the biggest way that I distract myself from spending all my money on useless stuff. If you got a new insight from this video that you didn't have before, then subscribe below for the next one. Cheers.